Beagle. The Beagle is a breed of small-sized hound, similar in appearance to the much larger foxhound. The Beagle is a scent hound, developed primarily for hunting hare. With a great sense of smell and their tracking instinct, the Beagle is employed as detection dog for prohibited agricultural imports and foodstuffs in quarantine around the world. The Beagle is intelligent but single-minded. It is a popular pet due to its size, good temper, and lack of inherited health problems. Although Beagle-type dogs have existed for 2,500 years, the modern breed was developed in Great Britain around the 1830s from several breeds, including the Talbot Hound, the North Country Beagle, the Southern Hound, and possibly the Harrier. Beagles have been depicted in popular culture since Elizabethan times in literature and paintings, and more recently in film, television, and comic books. Snoopy of the comic strip Peanuts has been promoted as the world's most famous Beagle. Dogs of similar size and purpose to the modern Beagle can be traced in ancient Greece back to around the 5th century BC. Xenophon, born around 430 BC, in his treatise on hunting or Cynegeticus refers to a hound that hunted hares by scent and was followed on foot. Small hounds are mentioned in the Forest Laws of Canute, which exempted them from the ordinance which commanded that all dogs capable of running down a stag should have one foot mutilated. If genuine, these laws would confirm that Beagle-type dogs were present in England before 1016, but it is likely the laws were written in the Middle Ages to give a sense of antiquity and tradition to forest law. In the 11th century, William the Conqueror brought the Talbot Hound to Britain. The Talbot was a predominantly white, slow, deep-throated, scent hound derived from the St. Hubert hound which had been developed in the 8th century. At some point the English Talbots were crossed with greyhounds to give them an extra turn of speed. Long extinct, the Talbot strain probably gave rise to the Southern Hound which, in turn, is thought to be an ancestor of the modern-day Beagle. From medieval times, Beagle was used as a generic description for the smaller hounds, though these dogs differed considerably from the modern breed. Miniature breeds of Beagle-type dogs were known from the times of Edward II and Henry VII, who both had packs of glove beagles, so named since they were small enough to fit on a glove, and Queen Elizabeth I kept a breed known as a pocket beagle, which stood 8 to 9 inches at the shoulder. Small enough to fit in a pocket or saddlebag, they rode along on the hunt. The larger hounds would run the prey to ground, then the hunters would release the small dogs to continue the chase through underbrush. Elizabeth I referred to the dogs as her singing beagles and often entertained guests at her royal table by letting her pocket beagles cavort amid their plates and cups. 19th century sources refer to these breeds interchangeably, and it is possible that the two names refer to the same small variety. In George Jesse's researches into the history of the British dog from 1866, the early 17th century poet and writer Gervase Markham is quoted referring to the Beagle as small enough to sit on a man's hand, and to the standards for the pocket beagle were drawn up as late as 1901. These genetic lines are now extinct, although modern breeders have attempted to recreate the variety. By the 18th century, two breeds had been developed for hunting hare and rabbit, the Southern Hound and the North Country Beagle, or Northern Hound. The Southern Hound, a tall, heavy dog with a square head, and long, soft ears, was common from south of the River Trent and probably closely related to the Talbot Hound. Though slow, it had stamina and an excellent scenting ability. The North Country Beagle, possibly a cross between an offshoot of the Talbot stock and a greyhound, was bred chiefly in Yorkshire and was common in the northern counties. It was smaller than the Southern Hound, less heavy-set and with a more pointed muzzle. It was faster than its southern counterpart, but its scenting abilities were less well developed. As fox hunting became increasingly popular, numbers of both types of hound diminished. The Beagle-type dogs were crossed with larger breeds such as staghounds to produce the modern foxhound. The Beagle-size varieties came close to extinction, but some farmers in the South ensured the survival of the prototype breeds by maintaining small rabbit hunting packs.